That stuff matters, carved in stone. Every stitch and every tone. Living, loving, grinding through all the nerdy things we do.
What's up, guys? Welcome to That Stuff Matters. I don't even know what episode we're on. This would be, I believe, 16. Episode 16. Just going great. Starting to play with the new surroundings here, change up the layout a little bit. Courtney's a bit frustrated because she's so busy printing shirts right now every day that she hasn't had time to set the decorations and hang the shelves and the pictures, and she doesn't always approve of the way I lay the stuff out. So, but it's been going well. Just putting in a lot of hours. It's part of it. You want to do your own thing. You better be ready to work. And just so thankful for everybody. What we got going on? We got football starts this week. Jamboree is at Putnam County, so that's going to be really cool. Also, we're going to have a special guest. This is an announcement. We're going to have 2 episodes in a week, so that's going to be fun because we're doing a recording on Saturday with a gentleman who covers the GRC, which is the conference that our school's in, and we're going to learn the history of the GRC. It's going to be really fun. This is our second year in the GRC, so I'll be honest, I don't know a whole lot about it. I don't know the origins. I know it's changed a lot over the years. People have came in and gone, but we're going to learn. We're going to figure that out. It's pretty exciting. It's funny to me that we've been really busy here, but I've been busy with these podcasts. People always joke around and be like, oh, maybe you weren't doing the podcast, blah, blah, blah. Well, I do these things in the morning, bright and early. And usually, I think I fell asleep about, I don't know, it was 11:30 last night with the computer on my lap, as I stayed here in the office until about 8:30, went home, sat with the computer on my lap working until I literally just pass out. Courtney says, hey, you should probably go to bed. So we're trying to make it work. We're going to keep grinding on this. We've got so many. When I reached out and I said, who would you like to see on here? Flooded with really cool ideas. So thank you all for that. I think all in all, I had, and I don't have it right here beside me, but I had it all figured up. I built a list and over 70 guest recommendations. I might have it here. Hold on. Let me see if I can reach it. Come back. Let's see what we got. We got we got messages. We got that. There's this. Go in here to my docs. Podcast. Summarize. So here were the top 10. These were ranked, okay, based on how many times they were mentioned, how many likes they got. So we ranked them. Number 1, most requested for the podcast was Noelle Staddy, with childcare in small towns. So we got to make that happen. Lois Rodriguez. These aren't in order of everybody, but here's the top 10 that were there. So we got Noelle Staddy, Lois Rodriguez with Better by Design, has done amazing things with that business. Mr. Michael Wessing, my neighbor, my friend, longtime friend across the street from the Pigskin. The Brookfield Ministries, Lynn County Ministries, which we're doing. I think we've got that one set up to record next week. So that I learned, I had just a real quick sit down with her and Christian Wattenbarger. I did not know all those things that are going on and who is doing them. Sometimes you hear about places and organizations in town, but you don't really know. You have no idea who's behind it. So that was really cool. So we're going to do that one. This one, I saw this guy post yesterday on Facebook, and he has a trophy wall, memorabilia wall of all of his years coaching. Coach Tim Thomason, they want you on the pod. Great guy. He coached my kids. Has a really good bond with so many kids, but my oldest, they were close, and he definitely helped her in her journey, her basketball journey, to play college sports. Moms Breaking the Silence, which I did a podcast with them, and I said in turn they had to come and they were going to talk with me, so we got to get that scheduled. So looking forward to that. Darcy and Quincy Lane. Okay, Quincy's doing all sorts of stuff up there in on Maine with the different things that she does. I'm not in the beauty world, so I don't even know what all that stuff means. So that would be interesting. But then also with her mom and Memory Lane, that was another highly ranked one. I got to see if they'll get on here. Mr. Dean Gall, my buddy, professional motocross rider. I'm blessed. We are a sponsor. We are on his jerseys. We make his hats and his banners, and it just means a lot. He's a great guy. It's a great family, and he's worked really hard to be where he's at. Creative Pathways. That's one I'm still trying to, I want to reach out and make that work. I've kind of talked to them in the past, but I'm hoping that I can get with Josh and get them on. And then rounding out the top 10 was the Howertons. So I think they're doing a whole bunch in Brookfield with different properties and opportunities. So that's the list. The list goes on and on. Like I said, I think there are 70 here that you guys have mentioned. So thank you so much for that. But we're going to try and make some of those work. We've got other ones in the works. Just keep in mind that I've been trying to just film several, and then I'll release them when I can. If there were 70, that's over a year of, there's Champ. What are you doing, big guy? You can't go through that way. And that'd be over a year of podcasts. So we may have to figure that out. We may be doing some more double episodes. It all depends on how busy I am here, because the work here is my focus. It's what we got to get done. And outside of that, we'll get it going. Did you see somebody? Is somebody here or something? Well, Champ's at my knee. But there's your update. First day of school went awesome. Kids looked amazing. And I'm getting old. That's what I've determined. I don't know how old I look, but I feel old. Things hurt, but that's part of it. You got to push through. I am nowhere near as tough as the generations before me, but I'm going to do my best to live up to it. Without further ado, this guest for this week was one of the first ones I started talking to. We couldn't make it work, couldn't figure it out. And it just kind of fell in line that when I got the room kind of refinished here, it was perfect timing, and he was able to come in doing things, big things. He's got his own business, doing what he loves. And Champ, you got to get back. Doing what he loves with dogs. And without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, I can't wait for you to hear the story. He hasn't always had it easy, but he's always had a great mindset, and he's been happy and kind. Ladies and gentlemen, meet the man behind Small Kennels, Mr. Bailey Small.
Built it brick by brick, mile at a time. That is my anchor, my steady, my life. Living my dream in the dark and the bright. Kennels barking, but Claw and Paw built these days. Through storms and sweat, I paved my way. When the world said no, I pushed through. When the nights got cold, she pulled me through. Built it brick by brick, mile at a time.
Welcome to That Stuff Matters, your small town grit, big time conversations podcast. And I've got, in my opinion, another local legend here. This guy is, just starting his own business. And to me, it's not an easy business, but we're going to talk all about it. Ladies and gentlemen, say hello to Mr. Bailey Small.
How are you, Nathan?
Good, Barry.
Gave me an appreciate it a lot.
I'm excited. We've been talking about it for a while. We just haven't had
Yeah.
the chance, the opportunity.
Well, it's tough to find times that line up for each of us, and you're busy all the time, and I'm busy all the time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I swear, I say, let's say I think of like 5 guests or 10 guests, and I get some lined up. Well, I'm only doing 1 week, so that's like
Yeah.
2 months, 3 months down the road, so that can be tough. But this is one I've been looking forward to because I feel like in a lot of ways, building our businesses, we have a lot of similarities.
Oh, yeah.
So I was going to enjoy hearing your perspective on those things. But let's just start from the beginning. So, in your own words, who is Bailey Small?
Honestly, if I had to describe myself, I would definitely say motivated, very driven. I'll do about anything for anybody at any given time. But I mean, the main thing I try to focus on is just staying driven towards achieving my goals, because I have a lot of goals I set for myself, even daily, weekly, monthly, yearly. Like, it sounds crazy, but I have goals set for myself for a year from now,
Nice.
So I just, I would definitely say driven and very motivated to win.
Well, I think that's something that anybody that spends time with you or watches you online, that's something we can see. I mean,
Mhm.
you're very like active. I can tell that you're like up early with the dogs, you're playing with the dogs, working the dogs, and then you've got your own like merch and your stuff, and you've got the family. So you're doing a lot.
Yeah. Well, I try to keep busy. I go stir crazy if I don't. So,
Do you?
yeah.
Can't sit still.
No, I'm one of those people, like, my wife hates me for it because, like, she wants to just have lazy days around the house.
Uh-huh.
And if I'm at the house, I'm either talking to somebody on the phone about dog training, or I'm reading something about dog training, or trying to figure out what I'm going to do on Sunday or Monday, or, because, like, it's a 7-day-a-week deal. I mean, it's really, it's not necessarily a job or a career. It's kind of a lifestyle. Like, I tell people you're married to it because they have to be cared for 7 days a week. First thing in the morning, every single day, cleaning kennels, checking on them, filling water buckets, giving them fresh water. And then, like, in this heat, I'm over there 2 or 3 other times a day, even on, like, Sundays when I try not to work, just watering the pad down, making sure they're cool and stuff like that. So, I mean, it's definitely one of those things that, like, you don't have a whole lot of free time.
Yeah. Is the kennel located like right at your house or?
No, so I actually live right off of Highway 5 there in Purdon. My kennel is actually about, I'm gonna say it's a block to 2 blocks just away from my house.
Oh, okay.
So it's to the east over, like, so my grandparents' house sits here, and then my kennel's actually right in front of their
Okay.
house. So
All right, cool. Now, when we started talking, and I told you that I wanted you to be on the show, but I asked, I said, what do you, like, how far do you want to go with this? And you said, well, let's just open up the book and tell
Yeah.
everything. So I know that it hasn't always been an easy road for you. I mean, we say you've worked hard, but you've been through a lot. And I just want to start with, can you share a moment from your youth or your teen years, maybe that really started who you are or started your journey? Something that happened or.
honestly, I can't really think of a moment. I thought about this a little bit. There was never really a moment. It was just kind of all of it combined. Seeing, like, my mom and my dad both, they were on, drugs and alcohol. And just seeing my mom, in and out of rehab. My dad left when I was really young, like 10 or 11, I believe. And just the combination of all of it, and I would say, like, the moments when you're a young kid where you see all your friends going to Worlds of Fun or to baseball games or football games or having cool birthday parties, or, like, everybody turned 16 and all my buddies had the cool trucks and shiny rims and sound systems and stuff, and I never had none of that stuff, so, really it was just a combination of all of it.
Yeah. Um, Growing up without a father, because I've seen you, you'll post even like jokes about it, and you're kind of lighthearted about it. But growing up without a father, how do you feel like that maybe shaped like who you are?
I mean, honestly, it just, having a dad around. I was just talking to a guy about this over the weekend that comes up here deer hunting. Not having a father growing up, it sucks in a way because, and you don't notice it wherever you have one, but like changing your oil, playing catch in the yard, just, learning, the things that a father teaches. And like even now, like I even struggle now because like there's a little boy that me and my wife watch a lot named Jax, and I mean, he doesn't, his dad's locked up or whatever. So I mean, me and him spend countless hours together, fishing, hunting, doing all kinds of stuff. And, so trying to be there for him and like supportive and like try to do all the things for him that I never had,
Yeah.
which is super cool. But at the same time, like there's a lot of times I don't, like I just try to do the best I can, like it's hard for me to get on to him and stuff because I never really had that.
Yeah.
But I just know that, like, I always used to tell myself when I was a kid, like, if I ever, and even in high school, if I ever got the chance to have one of my own or a chance just to do it, that I would, do everything I could to give somebody the world, whether it be my kid or somebody else's kid. Me and my wife have been trying to have a kid for almost, well, it's actually, this month is about a year now, and we haven't had very good luck with it. So, having him around means the world to us. But at the same time, it's like, I just want to give another kid the opportunity that I never had, whether it be mine or somebody else's.
Yeah. It's certainly, probably built a lot of resilience in you, whether you want to admit that or not, but that's tough. And battling to have a child's tough. I know, uh, my wife and I, we had our first when we were like babies. Like we were exactly 1 year graduated out of high school. And then we tried for 6 years before we could have another one.
Really, I didn't.
Yeah. And I mean, we had a lot of problems, and all of a sudden she was pregnant, and then it we had that baby, and it was boom, she was pregnant again. I
Yeah.
was like, I gotta stop now. I gotta back off. And then we 6 years later after that, we had another one. So I always tell people it is so hard, but you just have to stop worrying about it so much, and it will happen when it's.
Well, it's crazy how whenever you're younger and you're running around like in high school and stuff, you're always scared to death. You're gonna, have an accidental pregnancy, and then once you actually start trying, like I told my wife the first time we actually like, set it up, did everything right, took the proper steps. Like I told her, I was like, whenever it was, time or whatever for her to take a test, I just sat outside the bathroom door. I'm like, this will be quick, I'm ready to jump and yell hooray. And she came out, she's like, I told you it wasn't gonna be that easy. I'm like, I really thought.
Right. You worried all this time,
Yeah.
and that is maybe one slip up and you're gonna be a dad, and there you want to be, and it's like,
Yeah.
um, and then I know not too long ago when you lost your mom, how did that affect your outlook on things?
Yeah, so I lost my mom back July 23rd of 2023, which it was actually just over, or my birthday's the 14th of July. I lost her the 23rd on a Sunday. So really, I mean, honestly, and not a lot of people probably know this, but after she passed away, like her and I weren't super, super close because of all the years. Like I didn't trust her anymore. She went to rehab 6 or 7 times, man. Like just, and finally I just, it was easier just to give up on her. And like there was a pretty good period of time where she had a really good job at Walsworth. She got a nice house, like had a nice car, like was sober, doing all the great things. And like looking back at it now that she's gone, I hate that I didn't spend more quality time with her when she was doing right. Cause I mean, heck, dude, she lived a mile down the road from me at one time. We was living in Brookfield. Um, But I got really, really down and depressed after she passed away, and I think a little bit might have been karma because, you know, her and my brother always talked about mental health and struggling with mental health, and, like, I was kinda like, some other people I'm sure you met, like, "Suck it up," like, "You're just being a wimp," or whatever, Um, and after she passed away, man, I don't know. I mean, obviously, I was sad about her passing away, but all at once, life just kinda, like, hit me like a ton of bricks. I got really, really down and out for about a year. I mean, it was pretty rough there for a while. Um, but at the same time, losing her kind of made me realize like life is short and you don't know, everybody's on a time schedule that we don't know. So to me, that's really kind of what motivated me to get going and get out of it, if that makes sense.
No, for sure. And growing up, I mean, did you see the drug use?
Oh yeah, 100%. I mean, there was multiple times that I had to go find her in town. Of course, we lived in Browning when I was a kid and young, so there was multiple times I'd go find her and she'd be whacked out of her mind. We'd live with my grandparents or my other grandma and aunt or whatever. I mean, we just bounced around and bounced around, and I mean, it was evident. It was there. I mean, she got my dad beat her up real bad and put her in a coma whenever I think I was 10 or 11, and my bus driver actually found her in our front yard the night before I got home from school, and I think she was drunk, and so I called my grandparents to come get me and my brother and get us out of there. And the next morning I got to school, and kids that were on my bus route were telling me like there was somebody in my yard and they thought they were dead. And I'm like,
Oh,
maybe it was one of my dad's friends or whatever. Because at that time that was the last time I'd seen him. And so anyhow, later on, like I don't know, 10 o'clock rolled around, my aunt showed up at the school, and they called us out, and my aunt told me that she was in the hospital, she was in a coma, and she was in a coma for 5 days, I believe. She woke up on Mother's Day, and yeah, the doctors, of course, nothing could be proved. The doctors, because there was a suicide note. There was a suicide note in the house, but wherever we went to go get clothes and stuff to stay with my aunt, there was blood everywhere. There was blood over the walls, the floor, and everything. So what really happened, no one will ever know, but I know the doctors told my grandparents that she didn't have enough pills or anything in her system to kill her, but she had defense wounds all over her body. So, the resent towards my dad, that sort of thing, like that's mainly where that comes from. Like I could really care less at this point that he left, but like, and obviously you can't put the blame on anybody, but at the same time, like I'm very stern on the fact that like you don't lay your hands on a woman.
right.
And whether my mom instigated it, whether it was over drugs or alcohol or whatever it was, like, you wouldn't let somebody put hands on your mom.
No.
So,
Growing and watching stuff like that, were there times you felt like that's what you were destined to go through yourself?
honestly, no, man. Like, I knew from a young age that I wanted so much more than what that life was going to give me. It sounds silly, but like, even young, like, my grandpa farmed when I was a kid. So, like, farming was a big deal to me. And then I got into playing baseball, and then middle school rolled around, and like baseball was my world. That's all I cared about was playing baseball. I'd spend hours and hours and hours hitting off the tee and stuff. I kind of knew from a young age I wanted out of that life, but everybody around you knows who your mom is or who your dad is. So you kind of get the stereotypical people that just see where you come from and that's what they
Oh, yeah.
expect out of you. And like I hated the way that people would look at me.
And they treat you based on what they think of
Yeah, dude,
their.
like I remember going to school with sack lunches because my mom had an outstanding um cafeteria bill at
Uh-huh.
school, and like the way kids would look at you was just crazy.
God, that makes me so angry.
Yeah, dude. Or dude, like me and my wife were just talking about this over the weekend. Like the one good thing about growing up the way I did was like she would go get commodities here in town, and a lot of times they'd have cases of like deodorant
Mhm.
and shaving cream and razors and stuff in there. So like I never ran out of deodorant. Like for Christmas a lot of times because she didn't have no money, she would give us cases of deodorant that she got in commodities, like wrapped it up, which I mean still meant the world to me. But yeah, I knew from a very, very young age I was getting out of that as fast as I could.
Man, that's something people don't think about. Like what those kids are really going through. I mean, we hear and we think, oh, those kids are in a rough situation, but the real details, dude, that's so hard. Those things that you went through, and even a bigger testament to like who you are now and the things that you're doing. Uh, it's just, it's really incredible, Bailey. Really. Um, when you think about those toughest days, and you were, what kept you pushing forward and didn't give up? So like you saw your mom, even in those late stages, not having a dad, you weren't, I mean, we'll get to it, but right out the gate, you weren't able to have the exact business you wanted.
Mm-hmm.
There were tough days. What kept you going?
The fear of being average,
Yeah.
the fear of being just like them, or the fear of being what everybody else thought I was going to be. Honestly,
Did that just like resonate with you every day?
every single day, every minute of every single day. I'm very bad about looking around me and putting myself in a place that's like, of course, I try my hardest to sit at tables that with people that are above me or doing better than me, because I want to learn. Like,
Mhm.
that's kind of why I reached out to you when that night at the Elks, because I knew like you were somebody that has done some great things and was doing well for yourself, and like, you know, you may not have, gave a crap about me, but like I wanted to meet you and know how you got to where you were.
Oh, well, I appreciate that. I really do. Um, I honestly, I always tell people like I'm nobody. I just show up, and that's like my one good trait. Like regardless of what's going on in life, I'll just show up. So that means for somebody else, for an organization, for my family. Like when people need something, I just feel obligated to be there. And that's really the only thing I'm good at. I'm honest. Half the time when I post things or when I like started this, like I don't know what the hell I'm doing. I will when I got my first job, like real job, I wanted to be an artist. I did not know anything. I knew I could draw with pencils, but I went in and I applied for a graphic arts position, and they wanted someone who knew how to use Photoshop and InDesign and all these applications. I did not know any of that thing. I lied. I said, yes, I did. I took in a hand drawn portfolio, and then I went home and I would just Google and YouTube how to do something. And I just teach myself
Yeah.
usually on the fly. So that means a lot that you said that. But honestly, I look up to people like you that have gone through so much, and every day you're positive and you're sharing content that's uplifting, and you're doing things with these dogs, and I see the things you're doing, and those are the people that are amazing to me.
But I mean, you said it right there. I mean, you show up every single day for your kids, your wife, your family, your job, even strangers you show up for. I mean, honestly, like in my mind, that's the most important thing you can do in life is just show up.
Yeah, well, a lot of people don't do it.
No.
It's like such a simple thing, but people will find an excuse to get out of anything.
And some days it's hard to do. Some days that's the hardest thing that I have to do is show up.
Mm-hmm.
Get out of bed and show up.
Yeah, because you don't feel like it every day.
No.
Well, I always tell my son this, but when I was young, and there was a sign in our weight room in high school, and it said, if you only show up on the days you feel good, you're not going to be very successful, or some of that effect. And I have no idea why this random sign has stuck with me my whole life, but I do feel like you got to show up every day. And almost, I tell people like I try to do something that sucks every day. I listen to a lot of like Goggins, guys like that just kind of beat you to carry the boat. Yes. And you do, like if you callous your mind to deal with the suck, all of a sudden, like the regular mundane tasks are okay. Well, I can make it through it. But a lot of people just don't show up. It's frustrating. Next question I had for you, Mr. Small here. Keep this going. What was your former job before you started this business?
So, just quick summary: graduated high school, went to Missouri Welding Institute, welded on the road for about a year, did the traveling deal, hated it, came home, got a job at Brookfield Fab, worked there for 3.5 years, and during that times whenever I actually started training and learning how to train, and that's kind of when Small Kennels started, was towards the end of my days at Brookfield Fab. Um, I wasn't really happy with how things were going there, so and obviously we were working overtime then too, so I didn't have a lot of time to spend with the dogs. At that time, I think I had 3 dogs I was training. So I quit that, got hired on with the highway department, MoDOT, and it was actually pretty crazy. I'll tell you this: when I left Brookfield Fab, I think I was making just shy $18 an hour. I quit that, went to the state, and I was making like $14.75 an hour, $14 an hour, something like that. Like 14.17 actually is what I think it was. And like, dude, I'm talking about like ramen noodles, bologna sandwiches, like folded over PB and J's because we were, couldn't afford to go buy another loaf of bread. Like that huge pay cut, and like back then I was charging next to nothing for the dog training just because I love to do it. I mean, you pay me for some food and a little bit of my time, maybe give me some money to take my wife to Mexican or something. We're good. Uh, so I worked at MoDOT for 3 years and 7 months, and yeah, that's whenever I quit. And
Well, I remember when you worked at MoDOT. I didn't know you'd went to welding school and were doing all of that. Do you enjoy welding?
I did. It's kind of one of those things like whenever I was looking for a way out. Whenever I was in high school, I was searching for a way out of here, a way to get away from my mom, everything that went on with that. Because at that time, she was still struggling a lot. I mean, she struggled until the day she died, technically, but I wanted to get as far away from her as I possibly could. So welding was my way out. I could go to welding school. I could get a loan to go, which I'll tell you firsthand, do not sign up for a $24,000 student loan at 17 with a 19% interest rate because you have no credit, no nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Bad idea in case anybody was wondering. Still paying for that one today.
Man, I always tell people like school is for a lot of people, like depending on what you want to do, but it's not for everybody because in today's society, you can literally just go on and teach yourself how to do something, and you could start your own business doing it, or you could start a career or find somewhere,
Well, what really made me mad was like my brother was a ward of the state for a while. So when he graduated high school, he got to go, which he blew it, but he got to go to whatever college. He got a free full ride to go to Grand River Welding Institute. Didn't cost him a dime. Got kicked out in 2 months. I didn't get that because I just bounced around. I was never a ward of the state. I just stayed with my grandparents, my aunt and uncle, whoever had room for me. So I didn't get that opportunity. I
were you two split up when you were younger?
No, we were together. He left for a while to go figure his stuff out or whatever. But yeah. So I had to pay for all that out of pocket, which sucked.
It just doesn't seem fair.
It doesn't, but at the same time, I tell people this all the time. I'm super thankful that they have those opportunities because there's a lot of kids that's their chance. That's the only shot they have at making something of themselves because they come from bad homes, bad environments, and I'm somebody that like I'm gonna figure it out.
Yeah.
So like at the time, like making that payment sucked. Now, like, I don't mind making it because and for one, dude, it gave me the opportunity to always have a job. Say down the road, the dogs slow down and I need to go make some money. I can always go take a test. I can always go weld somewhere. So
You've got that skill for life.
yep.
Do Do you do you do any welding like just for fun? Like enough
No,
you don't build
no.
enough?
I spent all of high school completely focused on welding and trying to get good at it. And then I did it for 4.5 months at school for 8 hours a night under a hood. And I did it for, basically 4.5 years after that
So you got burned
every day. And I'm not going to say, I don't want this to sound arrogant whenever I say this, but I fall in love with things until I figure them out, until I get good at them. And then it's almost like I get complacent, like I get bored with it, And not that I'm some great welder or anything like that, but like I did it every day for so long. I felt like I was good enough at it that like it got boring. Like you work at Brookfield Fab, you make 1,500 welds a day or whatever it was on a truss or a couple trusses. You're going to get burnt out pretty quick. Like something you thought you loved. Like I tell people all the time, like that ask me about getting into business or something. You better love it so much that you can do it 365 days straight and never get bored with it. Because if you don't really love it, you're not going to want to do it.
That's 100% true. But I want to say what you just said there, like that's a real thing where if you put your heart and soul in something and then you achieve it or you obtain the skill or you get good at it, sometimes it does become almost boring or mundane. It's like, I don't know if I love this as much as I used to. And I'm glad you said that. No, nobody ever talks about that.
No.
You don't hear anybody talk about that.
No. And I'm one of those people like I like it when things are hard. I say that my wife would completely argue with me on that. But I like it when things get hard because when things get easy, like money's coming in, bills are paid, you're putting money back, or business is going good, or whatever, work gets easy, you move up, you get promotion. Like when things get easy for me, I almost get lazy. Like I almost get complacent. It's just a drag. It's another day. But like when we were eating folded over PB and J's, and seeing if we had $20 in the bank, who's going to put 15 in their card, who's going to put 5 or whatever, like figuring that stuff out. Boy, it was easy to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning and go to work then. It was easy to work overtime. It was easy to do the extra, and now it's almost like, not to sound arrogant at all, but now that things are going good, like the business is doing really well right now. Like there's some days I got to make myself get up and get out of bed because it's like, I'm going to get up at anyway because I have to, but it's like that alarm goes off at 5. We got to do it until 5:30. There's some days I lay there and I'm like, I may just lay there. I may not even go back to sleep, but I'm laying there till 5:30,
Mhm. Yeah.
So
That's so true because, I mean, there have been a lot of times in my life where, things weren't great. And I remember working 12-hour shifts. I would work 12 hours Monday through Saturday and then 10 hours on Sunday. And like you said, when you're not making a lot and you get some overtime and life's been a little rough, it's easier to wake up.
yeah,
But you get
you're
your own
hungry.
Yeah, you get your own gig and can you stay hungry,
Yeah.
because like, oh, I could snooze a little bit. I could take an hour here. I could, leave an hour early or whatever the case may be.
That's why I have to set goals because I start getting close to a goal, and if I start to see that I'm not going to hit it, that's when that hunger kicks in. That's when that fire gets lit because I'm like, I'm not letting myself down. I've come too far to let myself down, let my wife down, because I tell her all this stuff and she'll be right there under my butt too. Like, hey, it's time. And I'm like, I know. I tell her, put the nose to the grindstone.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite songs.
Yep.
So you had all that time welding and you decide that you have a passion for the dogs. And that process, like you stated, like you couldn't devote a lot of time to them. It just wasn't like a perfect situation. You had to bootstrap this. And when you're talking about raising, training dogs, you got to have the kennels and the dog food and the land. So I'm sure not all of that fell into place right away. So did you just start small and slowly add like kennels I'm sure you started out with kennels in one regard, and then you probably poured a concrete pad and you built. You tell me about it.
So the first dog I ever trained, I actually had in the backyard of my house in Brookfield, and I had cattle panels with T-posts set up, and that's how I did it. And it was not pretty, but it worked. And then I bought a couple of chain link kennels off of Facebook Marketplace. They were absolute junk. I spent 3 days a week with chicken wire trying to wire them up to where they would hold the dog in. There was even one time, God, I'm so embarrassed to admit this, but there was one time I got a phone call from one of my neighbors when I was working at MoDOT that 2 of the dogs I was training were out running loose in Farview Heights. And the dog catcher picked him up. I had to go pick him up at the Humane Society. So, yeah, no, and then wherever this is kind of crazy too. So whenever I decided that we needed to I wanted to do it on a bigger scale, our landlord at the time told us she was going to sell the house we were living in. So all at once, I decided this, and keep in mind, so to tell you a little bit more about my wife, we got married that September before. Here it is, July. We're losing our house. I had just took a way lesser paying job, and now I have these dogs. So now I get this idea. We're going to buy this piece of property in Purton. We're going to buy a camper, and we're going to live in the camper on this piece of property and do the dogs. This is not even a year after we've been married.
So why throw at it?
So we didn't pay our bills for that whole month leading up to that. None of them. Because I had to have money. Like her dad split the property with us, thankfully. My aunt helped us get the camper, and we got up there, and I started, people started helping me out with kennels and stuff. And then we got up there, and thank God that it panned out, because like we were playing catch up for 3 months trying to get caught up on the bills that we didn't pay to get up there.
Mm-hmm.
Because I tell you, it took every penny we had to get up there. I mean, it literally took every penny we had to get up there. But then I just had chain link kennels on dirt underneath shade trees, because that's all I could afford.
But you just had, and I mean, God bless your wife, but you must have had just undeniable, incredible belief that this thing was going to work.
I knew from the second that I had the idea that it would work out, just because, I mean, like I said before, dude, like whenever I want to do something, I'm going to do it. I truly, truly believe that if you set your mind to something and you put enough effort and hard work into it, you can do anything.
Yeah.
I don't care if you want to drive a Lamborghini. I don't care if you want to, build a $2 million house. I mean, whatever it is that you truthfully want to do, and you work hard at it, you'll get it.
Yeah, that's powerful. And that ties back into, just showing up. Like if you're willing to be consistent and persistent, eventually that person's going to win.
Yeah.
I mean, it might take you way longer than you plan, and that's usually how life works. But you will win if you just keep coming.
Well, and somebody you had on last week, Tyler Gordon, I went into him because I was tired of dogs getting out of these chain link kennels. I was tired of fixing them. I went into him, and I had a notebook that had list of clients that I had come and wrote down,
Mm-hmm.
and I had last year's tax return, and no one would even give me the time of day. I called banks. I went and sat down at banks. No one would give me the time of day. I walked into Vermore one day, saying to talk to somebody about getting a loan. Thankfully, they sent me into Tyler, and I just sat down and I looked Tyler in the face. I said, dude, I'm not trying to be rude at all when I say this, but I'm going to tell you what I need. And if you're not going to give me the time of day, just tell me right out the gate. I said, I don't want to hear, well, you need this, you need that. I don't have 20% down. I don't have equity in anything. I don't own anything. I said, I don't have nothing. I said, so if you're not going to take a chance, he's like, well, we can look at it. And I'm like, okay, thank you. That's all I need. I need somebody to take the time to look at what I had. And he was the first guy, first bank, anybody that had ever actually looked at something that I had put together and was like, I think we can figure something out.
Man, like
still to this day, that means the world to me.
Well, like you couldn't have wound up with a better person there. No. That was like meant to be, I would say.
Yeah.
And what you touched on there was, so I've gone and spoke to different groups and organizations about entrepreneurship and like starting your own thing. And a lot of those are like put on by, bigger organizations. And, I'm just like some random Joe Schmo that's there talking. But their message has always been like, well, if you have a CD from your grandparents or if you have equity in this,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm always like, all right, hold on, time out. Because some of us, we do start with nothing. And that process requires a certain amount of fortitude and patience, that it doesn't mean that we won't work better or harder than those people who started with maybe a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
better footing. But how do we start? Where do we go? And no one ever explains that to you.
If I remember right, I even told Tyler, I said, if you take a chance on me, I said, I promise you, I said, I will do anything and everything I have to do to make sure you get your money back. Because I needed kennels. I bought 10 brand new kennels from Tractor Supply, all welded. And dude, whenever I tell you, I thought I was, pooping in high cotton. I thought I was pooping in high cotton. And he even, I thought he gave me enough money for the concrete pad that was going to go under those kennels. I didn't borrow enough money, so I had to put them on gravel. I had enough money to put gravel underneath them, no concrete. I didn't get my first concrete kennel pad until this summer.
Really?
Yeah.
What was that like? I mean, because that was probably something you've been thinking about forever.
Dude, I'm not kidding you a bit. Still to this day, you won't find the cleaner concrete pad.
Oh, I bet you take care of that. Where you're like,
you
oh,
have
no,
no idea. You have no idea.
concrete is expensive.
Best $5,500 I ever spent in my entire life.
Oh, it's got to be because you can just like wash that out so easy now.
Wash it out. It's easy to keep clean, sanitize.
You were probably busting your ass in the gravel.
Dude, it sucked because every time it would rain, it would get nasty. And like, the dogs, like wherever you'd scoop, feces out of there, you get gravel in there with it. So a load of gravel doesn't last long when you're scooping,
For sure.
poop out of it. And the dogs would dig out. I mean, I had concrete cinder blocks covering holes from them trying to dig out. Dude, it was awful. I look back at the way that it used to be compared to now, and I think, what a joke. I cannot believe anybody left their dog, their family pet, or their hunting dog that they spent money on with me to take care of the way that used to look. I can't believe it.
And you were right. And I just want people to know though that is normal. Like that's something that a lot of people have to go through. Like,
Yeah.
You've got to be willing to go through the muck, and whatever path you choose, whatever.
Embrace the suck.
Yeah, embrace it because that's where you're learning and you're growing. And I know that looking back now, it's a joke to you, but think how that built you.
I've had a client that's been with me for 3 years now. He brings his dog to me every summer. His name's Clayton Jones. When he dropped his dog off this year, he walked up, he goes, "Quite the upgrade we got, huh?" Because I told him on the phone that I was doing it full time and stuff when he called me a schedule for this summer. And he showed up and he just smiled and he said, "I knew you had it in you.
Yeah.
I knew you was going to do it." And I'm like, dude, that means the world to me because he was dropping his dog off when I had a mud floor for a kennel.
He believed in you then.
Chain link fences, He even told me, he said, I'll be honest with you now. He said, when I come to drop it off that first time, man, I was like, what in the world is going on here? He's like, am I really about to leave my dog with this dude?
It worked out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Are there days now where still like you'll pull in and look at it and be like, man, it looks nice.
Every morning when I show up, every night when I go home.
You're proud of it.
Very, very. It's like my baby. You build something and you watch it grow and you put your whole life into it. You devote everything to something, and to see it finally pan out. Like I sold 2 of my started dogs last week, and I literally called my wife screaming on the phone like I just won the lottery. Because to me that is my lottery.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, it's a lot of money, but more so than that, they seen these dogs and they wanted to buy them. And both of them are guides. One of them's going to Indiana and one of them's going to Oklahoma. The one that's going to Indiana, he leaves in a week to go to Canada. That dog's leaving my kennel, gonna go with him for a few days, and then go get thrown in the ringer in Canada.
That's awesome.
And dude, like, To me, that's my Super Bowl, you know?
Well, and let me ask you this. So you've come so far. There's probably still a lot of days though that are hard, right? That are,
There he is.
and do you ever get stuck in a spot where you have to like take a step back and like take a deep breath because you're at a point where the old you would have killed to be here, but the current you is still worried about your goal that you're working on that's a year down the road and it's like eating away at you. Are there days like that?
Yeah, I mean, I guess for me, I'm never satisfied. So, like, I quit my job, me and my wife and the 2 kids we watch a lot, we went to Raspberries and ate dinner, and that was celebrating. It was time to get to work and get kennels put up on the pad the next day. Um, you know, like, when it comes to money, I used to think money was everything. Money was the cure to everything. I quit my job, I started making good money at the kennels, things were going good. Not that, it's like you make $1,000 one month, all you're worried about is making the second thousand the next month. Like I reposted you on TikTok the other day. It was like if I made $1,000,000 tomorrow, the only thing on my mind was how to make 5 the next day.
Mm-hmm.
And like to me, that's kind of where I'm at. So, to say I look back and I think, wow, the old me would be so impressed. Yes, but the new me is waiting to see what 5 years from now me's looking like. I'm already, putting money back and setting the things up to get a building put up next year. I'm going to start offering a state of the art boarding facility next year as well.
Yeah.
Climate control kennels with the gun dogs. I have so many things coming. Dude, I'm going to do it big. It's going to be crazy.
But I'm sure the Bailey that got the call there were dogs loose in Farview Heights or whatever, he'd be pretty pumped to see the Bailey now.
I'm pumped every morning when I pull in because every kennel it has a dog in it. I don't have a single kennel up. I just had to put up 2 more kennels on a concrete pad that had an old building on it.
Mm-hmm.
That's a 10 by 10 pad. It's because I had dogs coming that needed to get there. I have a waiting list right now. I mean, dude, like when I tell you I'm pumped every morning I pull in there, it's because I see it and I'm like, I told my wife over the weekend, I'm living my dream right now.
You're genuinely excited.
Yes.
Love it.
Like I said, it might be hard to get out of bed some days, but don't ever doubt the fact that when I pull into those kennels, it's grind time because I'm living my dream every day. I never would have thought I'd have got here. If you'd have told me I'd have quit my job with insurance and benefits and retire at 52 to go and train dogs every day until the day I die, I'd have told you you're crazy. It'll never happen. I wanted it to happen, but
here we are.
Yeah, 100%.
Let me ask you this: what does success look like to Bailey? Like, what would you say success is?
It's changed a lot over the years. Like I said, everything was a little more money and I'll be able to do this. A little more money, I'll be able to go here, go there, do this, do that. Now it's more so based around being able to do the things I want to do when I want to do them. So for me, success is being able to, hopefully me and my wife get pregnant soon. We can have a baby and being able to buy my kid a new ball bat whenever he wants a new ball bat, when he needs a new ball bat, being able to put my kid in Nike cleats that are brand new from the store because I got mine from thrift store, Senate Bill 40 or Hope Haven or whatever the one in Milan was, being able to buy my kid a nice vehicle at 16, maybe not nice and new, but reliable, being able to give my kid the opportunity to chase his dreams right out the gate, whether that be, and not only chase his dream, but understand that even if he realizes this isn't what he wants to do or he or she wants to do, let's try again. Find that thing that keeps you up at night and let's roll with it. Make it happen for him. Give my wife everything that she wants because she stuck with me when I had nothing, was going nowhere, didn't know where I was going. So to me, success is being able to look at it and be able to do the things I want to do for my wife and hopefully a kid soon. God willing.
I love to hear that and the reason I ask that is when I talk to like the youth now, I feel like their vision of success is like fancy things, you know, whether it be fancy truck, fancy car, living some lavish lifestyle. But to me, success has always just been, do you wake up every day happy and do you get to spend time with the people you love?
Yep.
Like, if you can do those things, man, you're successful.
Yep.
And I think, um, I wish as a society we could like shift our mindset to more along the lines of what you're saying, and being there with them and just enjoying the little things in life.
Well, and you said it, like, you could go buy a brand new Denali pickup tomorrow and total it on the way home
Mm.
and lose it. Never get it again. The time you're going to spend with your wife, your kids at ball practice, doing whatever, you're not losing that time. Or you take your family on vacation, or whatever it may be, take your kids to breakfast. That's a memory that you're not going to lose. You might lose that new pickup. Your house may catch on fire that you built that was, fancy and lavish or whatever. But man, like that time with family, that's not going anywhere.
Yeah. Those memories are what's important. So true. Oh, let me get back on track here. What's a normal day look like for you?
So I set my alarm at 5, try to be at the kennel. I try to be up, showered at the kennels by 6, between 6 and 7, depending on what's going on. If I have to send text, emails, clients, whatever. Uh, and then get to the kennels immediately, clean, let dogs out, clean kennels, make sure everybody's clean, got fresh water. And then I usually try to do all my yard work, which for me, yard work is like my obedience dogs, the dogs that are, whether it be gun dog or just basic obedience, get all those knocked out. And then my force fetch dogs, like I have 2 dogs that are in the process of force fetch right now, so I'll get them done. And then once that's done, then I start loading dogs up on the trailer, and then we'll go, like, I do a lot of my water work in Linneus, so we'll go there. I'll run a land setup and a water setup with them. And I try to have those picked out the day before, what kind of setup I'm gonna run. So when I get there, I can just roll. I don't have to sit there and stare at it and think about it. So usually get done doing that, and then we get back, and then we put everybody up, and then depending on time, if I have time, I try to run through another session with my force fetch dogs. And I usually don't have time to run through all my obedience dogs again, but if I have a dog that's struggling, then I'll get them back out. We'll work on some things.
So, how many things do you offer there? Like, if is specific, like hunting training, you've got the basic obedience. I mean,
Yep. So we will do some puppy training. We'll do some. My wife hates it, but I'll even take a house dog once in a while in our house and work on stuff. But the main things are like basic obedience, for any dog, any breed, and then the hunting dog training, and then we'll do some puppy stuff. I sold my first litter of puppies that we had this past winter, so that was super, super cool.
man,
And then soon to be, hopefully, we're going to offer next year like a really nice boarding facility. And then I'd really like to get in and start running some hunt tests eventually, if my wife will let me get away with being gone every weekend.
yeah. I'm surprised. Does she let you get away with bringing random dogs in the house?
She lets me get away with a lot. She gets pretty upset from time to time with it, But like I said, I mean, I'm married to it, so
Yeah.
she's very supportive of whatever makes the business money and whatever makes me happy for the most part.
I think randomly I saw a post from her once, and it was like you guys had sat down to watch a movie or something, and 2 hours later she was watching the movie and you were still out on a call because somebody had called you about the dogs, and it was just nonstop.
Yeah. From the time I get home at night, I'm literally on the phone with either a client. This is what's crazy. This is how hungry I am. I'm either on the phone with a client about something their dog's doing or whatever, if they call and ask about them, or I'm on the phone with other trainers that I'm friends with, asking them questions like, "Hey, this dog did this today. What do you think?" Because thankfully, and I'm going to give a shout out to some guys here that have really helped me out along the way. Galen Huffman, Brian Anderson, Barry Grashowitz, Clint Mann, Logan Van. These are all guys that have helped me this whole time, answered questions, took the time to help me when they didn't have to. So a lot of times I'm spending my evenings on the phone with them like, "Hey, this dog's doing this. What do you think? What's your opinion on it?" So even in the truck, dude, like we'll get in the truck to come to Brookfield, and if I got 15 minutes, I'm on the phone trying to figure something out, asking them what should I run for this tomorrow? What should I do about this? Or, or they'll call me, hey, what'd you do tonight? What kind of setup did you run tonight? So,
It's so cool because I always say you need to surround yourself with like-minded people, but you should always try to find people, I say smarter than you, but more experienced or who have maybe seen things that you haven't seen, because you need to always be learning.
yeah.
And if you are in a room where you're the smartest person, you probably need to be in a different room. That's what I've always believed.
And for like the younger people that are listening to this, like something that I'll tell you that would get you a long ways in life. Like I'm sure you've heard it since you were a kid in school. Ears open, mouth shut.
Mm-hmm.
I look at a lot of things in life, especially dog training, because I've been doing this for 4 years, but basically 5 or 6, counting like my first dog I got, which isn't very long. The guys that, like I said, sitting at a table with Clint, Barry, Galen, all these guys have been doing it their whole lives, 20 plus years, 30 plus years. When we get together and we're training, my mouth's shut, my ears are open, and I'm locked in watching them, trying to figure out, like, even if it's something small that maybe they did that can give me an edge on something I'm doing tomorrow.
Yeah. And I think it's tough because I am a big believer in what you said. You need to like just listen more than you speak. But sometimes when people like talk to me, like let's say someone talks to me about DJing or graphic design or whatever, like I think they just don't want to seem like they don't know. So they're constantly talking and like cutting me off and stuff. And, I've been doing those things for 25 years. And you're not trying to like be arrogant or anything, but if you really want to learn, just stop talking
Yeah.
and let me I'm just going to tell you my experiences. You don't have to do it the way I'm telling you to do it, but maybe when I explain this to you, you'll hear one little snippet and that'll stick with you, and then that might change your outlook on how you approach something.
Well, and that's why I don't post like how-to videos and stuff. I'll show how I do something or the process I do something, but I'll never tell anybody how to do it, at least not at this point in my life or my career, because 4 years into this, I don't feel like I've earned that. I don't feel like I've earned enough respect from somebody, or enough. I haven't earned the reason to be able to tell you how to train your dog, because there's guys out there that have been doing it for 30 years that, put the time in, and they can tell you better than I probably can, and maybe they do it the same way I do. Maybe we do it a little bit different, but we get the same product in the end. But I feel like you got to earn some of those things. And in my mind, I don't ever want to come across as an arrogant person.
Yeah, I think I struggle, like, and I don't know, you tell me if you do the same, but like posting online, I always have this imposter syndrome where like I feel like I can't put out my message of how to do something because there's always going to be someone that questions why I'm saying to do it that way. And then I feel like I don't have the right or the enough experience or whatever to be talking about it.
Yeah, to an extent. I mean, I just got to the point like this summer because, dude, it's been hot out. I train without a shirt on every day. As soon as I get to Kennels, when I get hot, I rip my shirt off. And so I always have a camera going for the most part, recording dogs and stuff, getting content. And people, like, I'd post TikTok videos. Like, at first, it was kind of making me mad. Like, people would say something about me being fat. And I'd comment back to them. I'd say something back to them, and then I'd get flagged for it, or they'd report me. And I'm like, oh, dude, don't even. So then I stopped for a little bit, and I'd only post videos with my shirt on. Then finally one night I got home, and my wife was like, you post video today? I'm like, no, I didn't take you on my shirt on. She's like, who cares? I'm like, well, because I'm tired of getting flagged on TikTok, because these guys get on there and start talking smack, and whenever I give it back to them, they report me. It's a game to them. And she's like, so don't comment back to them. She's like, I mean, not to sound rude, babe, but like, I mean, you're fat. You're fat. Like, who cares? I'm like, I don't really care, but like, don't get on here talking smack and not be able to take it back,
I hate that about social media. It's like people say things that they would never say to you to your face.
Oh, 100%. or even like since I quit my job, like I'm not gonna mention any names, but there's one person that's talked smack when I said I was quitting. After I quit, I just heard somebody tell me the other day on the phone that he told them, "Well, I guess Bailey's business isn't doing that good because I posted that deal. It was like share my business or whatever, or go follow it, And they were saying that. And I'm like, dude, I did that because I wanted more people to follow my stuff. Like, and I told that guy's like, I mean, I'm not gonna argue with him. I mean, anybody can drive by here and see that I ain't got an open spot. Like I'm not gonna argue about it, but like, why be somebody that's trying to bring somebody down? Like, if you,
Yeah.
and I think a lot of it goes back to jealousy, honestly. But I'm nobody to be jealous of. Like, you could literally go do the same thing I did. Yeah, you have the same 24 hours a day. Like, don't get upset and try, putting me down because I did something different with mine than you did with yours.
Yeah. People blow my mind.
They do, 100%.
It's
Nobody wants to see you do better.
No, and here's the thing that I've always heard about haters is like you never find a hater that's doing better than you.
No, never.
People that are like doing well, they're not worried about the things that other people are doing because they're focused on themselves. But people who just want to pick apart other people, I mean, they've obviously got some problems, some jealousy issues, or something. What's the so you spend a lot of time with dogs, and I'm sure you've had dogs that are harder to train and some that are super easy. What's the most rewarding thing to you about training a dog?
When that light bulb kicks on, I usually see it twice. Or I usually don't get to see it the second time, but it happens twice. So you get a dog through obedience, collar conditioning, force fetch, and you start throwing them marks, and they've been on that table and they've been getting pressure for a month straight, or about a month. And then you take them out, and I'll have my bird boy out there in a white t-shirt, and he's yelling, hey, 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 hey. And you start to see them back hips start to shake, and they're like, ooh, 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 I get a mark, I get a mark, I get a mark. And then, as soon as he tosses it up and you cut them loose right before it hits the ground, and they bust out of there and they go get it and they bring it back. And then you start to, because they've been force fetched, they start to put the pieces together, and then like, they've been through walking fetch. They know to side finish when they get back. And that first mark they get after force fetch, when they bust butt out of there off the line, they go pick it up, they come back, they side finish, they sit there and they hold it looking out in front of me. And they just sit there and I'm like, you passed. And then, once you take them hunting, I tell everybody, the first 50, 60, even sometimes 100 birds that get shot over them, it's going to be rough. Them first few hunts are going to be rough because they've never done it before. They've never seen it. You're in a new place, new water, everything's new. You got your buddies cutting up, laughing with you, whatever. Maybe you're cooking breakfast. This is all new to them.
Yep.
So once you finally, and you'll see it, you'll shoot, like for me, like, I'll shoot a duck and it'll fall and that dog will be sitting there and they're already locked in. I don't have to line them up. I don't have to, or like you'll see them, like their head will start to swivel with the birds when they come in. You'll see them looking up. And that's how I know, like, it's game on.
What's your favorite type of dog to train?
A female black lab, small frame, about 50 pounds.
Very specific.
Well, because that was the first dog I ever had that was my own that I trained. That was Macy that passed away. And she stole my heart. I've tried to build her. I've tried to buy her. I've tried to find her again across the whole world. I've spent countless amounts of money trying to find her again. And it's kind of like you lose your best buddy. You don't ever find your best buddy again. You might find another buddy, but that's kind of how it was with her. Yeah. That's why I have a male, like my personal dog, Rip. That's why he's a male, because, we're buds. Like, we do stuff together all the time, but, like, him and I aren't like me and her were, And, like, my wife won't even let me look at black females. Like, I was looking at like another puppy. Like, I've been looking at litters of puppies to buy. So I have started dogs to sell next summer.
Mm-hmm.
And I told her I want to get a female this go around. She's like, no, you're not getting a black female. And I'm like, why? She's like, because I know what's going to happen. You're going to fall in love. And I'm like, yeah, you're right.
That was the next question was, have there been any dogs, I know you spoke with Macy, but have there been any dogs that you trained that really stood out? Like,
Yeah, there's a couple. I told you about Clayton Jones earlier. He's had his dog with me for 3 years now. She's doing finish work right now with Hanson and stuff. She's running pattern blinds. She's a super high drive dog. Um, I had a dog a couple years ago that passed away. Her name was Ray. She was a female. Both these dogs are females, if you can't tell, black females. But they were both super high drive. They would go through a brick wall to get to a bumper of a bird. I mean, just the most high drive animals you ever seen. It really is incredible to watch. And I say them just because they were easy to train. They had the mindset, they had the energy, they had the focus. They were very pleasing dogs. Like I have a chocolate male right now that I think if he continues at the rate he's going to be the best dog I put out of there.
Really?
Yes. And we're finishing up obedience right now. He's been the hardest dog I've ever had to do obedience with because he's literally the strongest animal I've ever had my hands on. You want to talk about a leash? You want somebody wants to get a workout on? Come tote this guy around the yard.
Really?
Oh my God. I have netted, like I have, shade covers over my kennels.
Uh-huh.
He's ripped down 2 in a week. My kennels are 10 foot tall. He can come within inches of clearing my kennel. Flat foot jump. He'll run 30 mile an hour behind my 4-wheeler. I take the dogs on runs every day. He'll run 30 mile an hour behind the 4-wheeler.
What's his name?
Huh?
What's his name?
Blue.
Blue.
Yep.
Blue sounds like a badass.
He is gonna be.
We've talked about her, but how has marriage really changed the way you approach your work?
It's changed a lot because I've grown up a lot over the years. My wife has always been the one in the back of my ear that's like, just quit. And I think it's kind of because she knows I'll always figure it out. Whenever times were tough, she always stuck it out with me.
Mm-hmm.
She was always there to help me figure things out. Like at one time, she was working at Helm Street, waitressing or cooking. She was working at Walmart, and she was babysitting all three at one time. Whenever I decided that I was going to quit my job and do the dogs full time, she paid the bills all last winter at our house. I paid my truck payment, I paid my insurance, my boat payment. Other than that, she covered everything else at the house because she wanted me to be able to save up some money so I felt comfortable enough when it was time to quit to walk away, because she knew if I had $1,000 in my checking account that I wasn't going to do it because I wasn't going to feel comfortable. So to say that she's a rock star.
Yeah,
I couldn't ask for anything more.
Yeah, you light up when you talk about her.
Yeah, well, dude, honestly, because I used to think, and this is what growing up will do to you, but I used to think that me and her were never going to work out because I wanted to go out and party and have fun with my friends, and she wanted to sit at home. But as you get older and you grow up and you realize the girl that's going out wanting to party ain't the girl you want to marry. That ain't the girl you want to be with. You want to be with the girl that's sitting at home, baking cookies and reading books and watching Netflix. And now, she even gets mad at me because I either want to work or I want to sit in my recliner and watch TV with her at home. I don't want to go out and do stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And she gets mad at me now because she has to pry me to leave curtain. And I'm like,
come on, let's go.
Yeah.
Yeah, running your own business, I mean, it's full time, and I'm talking like 24 hours a day. You got to worry about it. So how do you try to balance your kennels with your home life?
You're asking the wrong guy. I have no idea. There is no such thing as balance. I, my wife loves going to the lake, so we'll hook on the boat about every other weekend, and we'll go over to Thomas Hill, and she usually tells me about Wednesday whether we're going Saturday or Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
That way I don't set anything up because I'm the kind of guy, if you call me and say, hey, can I come see my dog Saturday at 1:00? You bet. And if I have something that I had scheduled before then, sorry, can't go,
Yeah.
So she tells me about Wednesday.
So you leave that open.
Yeah, she always gives me either Saturday or Sunday to get caught up on stuff, whether that be sanitizing the kennels or whether that be taking the trash and burning it at the kennels, whatever it may be. There's always something to do, always. And so she always tries to keep me in the loop. Like, hey, we're going to a lake on Saturday. Oh, okay.
Hey.
Like, no, we're going to the lake Saturday. Okay.
Well, and that's something too I hope people pick up on is, like, if you really wanna do your own thing, there's a level of commitment required in those first 5, 10, 15 years. You don't know that it's gonna take a while. You're gonna be working on this thing 20 hours a day.
Yeah.
And people outside of your small circle you're gonna look like a crazy person. You're gonna look like, that's all you care about, but you've it's required
Mm-hmm.
that much effort to get to a point where you can then start to pull back or delegate or do other things with it.
Well, my circle has gotten so much smaller since I quit and decided to do it, or even before when I was telling people, because for whatever reason, the guys that are cheering you on Saturday night when you're chugging a beer in the bar aren't the same guys that'll be cheering you on wherever you decide to give that up and chase your dreams.
Yeah.
And that's crazy, honestly. Like, I don't talk to I don't even talk to half the people I used to talk to on a daily basis. Because if you can't take a little bit of time out of your day, because everybody's scrolling Facebook. And I think about it a lot. Like, if you can't take 2 seconds to hit share button on one of my Facebook posts, whatever I'm looking for, a dog or whatever it may be, then I don't need you. Because if the roles reversed and you had a business and you posted something on there, I would share it. I share your stuff. I share Jordan's stuff. The people that have my back, I have their back, and that's just the way it works. So,
Yeah.
no.
Well, I'm the same way. Like, I love when I see you sharing a video because I'm like, I'm gonna share that too.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, those are like the simplest things. But just getting that extra views will help a business grow so much.
It's free, dude. It don't
Yeah.
cost any money. You're already doing it. You're already there. Like, what's
Because there's somebody on that person's friends list that they're instantly going to create validity for you just because they shared it. And now there's that connection. And it's just so simple just to hit share or like, or, if someone's talking about the business, jump in and
Mhm.
continue to talk good things about it. But not everybody does that.
No.
Man, okay. What advice would you give to a young person who is maybe going through a tough time in their life? Maybe they have dreams and aspirations of doing something better for themselves. Like, what's your advice?
Don't ever give up. Don't ever let anybody tell you that your ideas are stupid. Don't ever let anybody tell you that you can't do something. Don't ever let anybody tell you that you're a nobody or that you'll never be anything, because at the end of the day, people are going to try to bring you down no matter what. I don't care where you're at. If it's in school, if it's on the playground, whatever it is, people are going to bring you down. So you have to, in the back of your mind, like, you almost have to have some thick skin, because, and if you have big dreams and aspirations, like, you need to be focused on that to a point where those things drive you. Like, whenever I was a kid, like, my weight's always been something people picked on. It didn't bother me. I mean, it bothered me then, but it don't bother me now, because I look at them like, what, like, yeah, I might be fat, but like, what are you doing with your life, dude?
Yeah.
And so if you're young and you're going through some hard times, like, just don't ever give up. Put your head down, get through it, and always think with the mindset of tomorrow's a new day. That has gotten me through so many bad days. The sun's going to come up tomorrow.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the best thing I can tell you.
Well, and anyone in life's going to experience more hard days or just, mid days. But those awesome days, those days that make life worth living, sometimes those happen right after the worst days of your life.
Yeah.
And you may feel like what's the point? But you might be a day away from great things happening to you, but you just got to keep showing up.
Well, and don't make excuses. Don't look around you and find excuses for why this happened to you or why this is that way. Try to get 1% better every day. I put a deal on Facebook about it a while back. I just try to get 1% better every day. It's a small task. It's not that hard to do. But if you really set your mind to it, I'm going to get a little bit better today and a little bit better tomorrow. The only person you're competing with is you.
Yeah. Yeah, get up and look in the mirror, and that's your competition right there. And this might be a weird one, but do you see yourself, your story, as proof that your starting point in life, your upbringing, that isn't a determining factor for a person and how successful they are?
No. Like I said earlier, I truthfully, with everything in me, believe that if you want something, you can go get it. And anybody that tells you can't, or anytime you sit there and you look at, well, I can't do this because of that, or this, or whatever it may be, you're going to find excuses on why you can't do it. You need to start figuring out reasons why you can, because anything is achievable in life. I mean, look at you, look at Jordan, look at all these people, look at Tyler, all these people you've had on this podcast. Everyone has one thing in common. They've put in the time, they've put in the effort to get to where they're at. And they're probably still not where they want to be.
Right.
But you bet your sweet butt tomorrow they're going to wake up, they're going to try a little harder to get there.
Yeah.
And that's the mindset you got to have.
Yeah. Well, I certainly think that, you in general, but your story it's inspirational. So I think that will resonate with a lot of people. If you could go back and talk to your younger self, what advice would you give younger you?
Save more money when you get out of high school.
Save more money.
No, man, honestly, if I go back and tell my younger self anything, I tell my younger self that it's gonna get better. You're gonna get to where you want to be, but it's gonna take time. Because you know what I'm talking about whenever I say, like, there's a lot of days and nights where you just want to quit.
Mm-hmm.
It ain't worth it, dude. I'll work a normal job. I'll live a normal life. I'll, live in a normal house. I'll do the normal thing. I'll be average just like everybody else around me, because it's so hard, dude. It is literally so hard to do something that's you've like, and especially like, maybe not for you. I don't know about you or anybody else, but for me, I'd never really seen success. There's been no one around me growing up, like in my family, I mean, my immediate family, that started a business or had a business. My grandma had, she always did mending and made quilts and stuff. But on a big scale, dude, like my Aunt Brenda, she took pictures. But on a big scale, no one's done it. No one's quit their job to do it. And so to look around and not have any idea of what I'm doing and just kind of be the lone wolf, like, that's big, dude. It's stressful. There's a lot of days and nights where you sit there and you go, it ain't worth it. Yeah. It ain't worth it. This sucks. This is stupid. Why would I ever even think this was a good idea?
Yep.
But you're gonna wake up one day and that stupid idea or that thing that kept you up at night for so long, you're gonna wake up, you're gonna get to go do it. And that's whenever it all sinks in.
Well, I've always said I would rather work 100 hours a week than go work 40 for somebody else. Yeah. And, that's the kind of commitment that's required. But like I had this career and had been there for so long and wanted to quit, wanted to leave and wanted to go do something else. And I just never had the balls to do it.
You got mouths to feed. You got kids to take care of.
Yeah. It'll keep you up at night. Mm-hmm. And then, I can't keep my mouth shut a lot of times. So anyway, I get fired and it's like, I don't want to go work another normal job. I'm just going to, I got fired and left the parking lot and drove straight here and just started working here full time. And, I was fortunate enough to do that. Like, we've been here since, 2013. So.
And when did you actually start this full time? 3 years ago?
Yeah.
Was it 3 years ago?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
looking back on it, do you ever wish that you'd have done it sooner?
Oh yeah. But I was scared. I was like, oh, I don't know if I can do it. I don't know if I can make it work. But now I think about it, let's say you work real hard and you get a job that pays you $25 an hour. Okay. Or whatever the case might be. You pick a number. I don't care what the number is. That number if you really think about it, you could go out and make $25 an hour if you wanted to. But here's the thing. When you're working for yourself, you could go make $200 an hour if you are willing to work. It's just that fear that keeps you from taking that leap. And you've got to, it was so hard for me because I didn't know shit about business and I failed a lot. And the fact that we're even still here, it kind of amazes me someday. Yeah. Because I'm like, man, I don't know how we got out of that one. But I think that's all part of the process and learning.
It is.
Yeah. Man, so much good stuff here. I've really had a good time. What kind of legacy do you want to leave behind?
I want people to know that I always showed up. Kind of like you said earlier, showing up's the most, important thing you can do. I want people to look at me and say that he always showed up. He was respectful. He did the things that he said he was going to do. Because to me, that's very important. Family man, you know, and more than so, even business wise, like I want my legacy to be passed on to my children. Like me and my wife talk about, like, we only want one kid if we're lucky enough to have one.
Mm-hmm.
And, whether my business is big enough and successful at some point and that's what they want to take over, then so be it. But I want everything. I want to give them something worth living for, because I mean, I didn't get nothing when when my mom passed away or my dad left. I got nothing,
Mm-hmm.
So I want to leave them something that they can look at, and even if they want to sell it, dude, like if you want to sell it, sell all of it. If that's if that's going to get you where you want to be at, where you're truthfully happy,
Mm-hmm.
then so be it. But I want to give them opportunity. That's the legacy I want to leave behind. If there's one thing I could say down the road, I want my future children to be able to say he did everything he could, gave me everything he could, did everything for me that I ever asked him to, and showed up, because that stuff matters.
Yeah, I love the way you delivered that. Just showing up for people in life, man. I just baffles me that that's such a hard trait for some people. What's something that you do for fun?
I spend all my free time in the woods or on the water. If I'm not duck hunting, I'm goose hunting. When it's not goose season, after goose season's over with, it's time to start picking mushrooms and turkey hunting and crappie fishing.
Mm-hmm.
And then, like I love going and running lines on the river, but Ben's Brunswick's an hour away, and so that's 2 hours travel time. Like I don't have the time to do that anymore, but I've gotten really big into bass fishing this summer. I forgot how much I fell in love. Like top water, I forgot how much I love watching bass come up and eat a top water bait. And Eric Adams, if you're listening to this, I'm coming for you. So don't get too comfortable.
Ian told me the stories of his boat. He's got this amazing boat.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man. Have you thought about doing any like competition fishing?
No, I don't like it that much.
You don't like that much?
I mean, I love it, but when I say I'm competitive, like I take it way too far. Like that's part of the reason why I haven't got into like the hunt test game and stuff, because if I went and got my butt kicked one weekend, which you're going to, if I went and got my butt kicked one weekend, I would go all over the country hitting them until I didn't. And
you'd be obsessed.
Yes. And like that's part of the reason, like, my wife's kind of hinted, like, if I really, really want to get into it, I can get into it. But like she knows how obsessive I get, and she doesn't want me gone all over the country every weekend, which I understand that completely. Like she'd be totally cool with me hitting 1 or 2 a month, but she doesn't want me running all over the place. And she knows that if, like, I hate that about myself, because if I get my butt whooped at something, we could be tying shoes side by side, and you may not know it, but I'm going to try to tie my shoes faster than you.
I didn't, I'm super competitive with everything too. I mean, we might sit down for family dinner and I want to beat everybody to get my plate finished. I don't know. It's just in me, but, we get towards the end here, and one of the favorites for everybody is say it with your chest. So this is your opportunity. What's something that you believe in 100%, you stand behind it, you want people to know about?
Really, there's a couple of things. Number one, even if it's not your kid, take a kid hunting and fishing. Get them involved in the outdoors. Teach them that there is a place you can go that's quiet and calm, and kind of let loose a little bit. That was something that I always found to be a getaway. A gateway was hunting and fishing, clear my mind, a place to relax. And then other than that, just treat people with respect, be kind, help others. Even if they're not your friend, just be nice to people. I see so much hate, whether it be on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, or even out in public. Like, people can be downright just nasty to other people. And it's like, I get so sick of seeing it. Like, I have to literally tie my tongue so much because I want to say things to people like, dude, why do you act that way? So take a little bit of time out of your day and make somebody smile. I don't care if it's a friend, a coworker, your aunt's mom, whoever it may be. Just take a little bit of time and make somebody smile every single day.
Yeah.
And one up it, make a few people smile. That's something that's very, very important to me. And I'm sure you've noticed it a little bit just being around me. The little bit you have, like, even on my bad days, I'm gonna make somebody smile.
Yeah.
And a lot of it's because I don't want you to feel the way I do right now. So I'm gonna make you happy. Or I'm gonna make you giggle about something.
Yeah.
Spread kindness, be a good person, do the things you say you're gonna do.
Man, that's the best message. That's I don't get to do it anymore because they're older, but when I used to drive my kids to school and I would drop them off every day, we'd open the door and I would say, "Listen, make someone smile today." And that was the most important goal, because I try to get my kids to understand that some kids, when they go to school, like that that might be the best part of their day. You might hate it, it might suck for you, but that might be where they're going to get a good meal.
Might be the only meal they get to
It
eat.
might be the only meal they get to eat. And if you just take the time to make someone laugh once or smile once, they can change their whole outlook for the whole day.
Yep.
And
Give them a reason to see a new day.
yeah, and I always think back to a lot of times when people have been rude to me or hateful or said really just awful things. It was at a time where I was already dealing with something that they didn't know about.
Yeah. When it rains, it pours.
Yeah. And I mean, I'm not perfect. So maybe I didn't make the best choices, or maybe you have a valid reason to be upset with me, but you don't know what I'm dealing with at all. And if you just come spewing hate at me, well, great. That's just another notch in my belt there.
I was just talking to a buddy of mine last night. Like, I want to start, like, we should start a movement, like, calling people out on their crap. Like, if you're hateful to me or you're hateful to somebody, like, don't let it slide.
Yeah.
Like, say, hey, no, we're not gonna act like this. You want to act like a toddler and be rude and disrespectful. That's fine, but you ain't gonna do it around me.
Mm-hmm.
Do that stuff at your own house.
Yeah. Man, people would act different if all the negative things they say were somewhere where people could see them.
Yep.
But anyway, Bailey, I've really enjoyed this. I learned even more about you. Made even grew my respect for you. I think you're just a great asset to our community, and I'm really glad you took the time to be on the show.
No, I appreciate it a lot, Nathan. I had a great time today, and I appreciate everybody that listens and shares this podcast because it's going to do great things.
Well, thank you. Yeah, I mean, like you said earlier, if you guys can just share some of the content you see, that helps us. All we're trying to do is help people. I mean, I don't make any money doing these things.
Like it, share it, listen to it, try to gain something from it.
Yeah, there's so many cool people in our area, and there are organizations that need help. But the only way we're going to learn about all that stuff is if we talk about it. So awesome. Thank you so much, Bailey.
Thank you.
So check out Small Kennels if you guys have any. I mean, he's on a waiting list, but if you've got a dog that needs some work, this is your man right here.
I have some availability coming in March of 26. So
perfect. And that might be you might be building a boarding spot then as well.
It's in the works.
It's in the works. All right. That's it for us today. Thank you guys so much. See ya.
That's going to do it for this week. Thank you guys so much for joining us. Come back next week. You don't know who we're going to have on this show. If there's somebody you'd like to see, you got to message me. Let me know about them.
That stuff matters.